All right, guys, how y'all doing today? How's everybody? We are live. My special guest today will be Eddie Gant. He's running a little bit behind, so just give us a few minutes. It's Memorial Day weekend. I hope everybody's got great plans for Memorial Day. I think I hear the man, the myth, the legend himself. He's coming, but it's going to be a great Memorial Day weekend. Look who we got. We got Eddie Gant, owner operator of Jet Lending.
Sorry about that. I thought we were recording and gonna blast later. I didn't know we were live.
We're live today.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I was kind of finishing up a banker call and going to the bathroom, getting me some water. And
well, those banker calls are important.
well, it started at 9. I thought we'd be on the phone for 30 minutes, and it was almost a solid hour.
Well, we'll forgive you this time. You are the owner and operator of Jet Lending, so
well, yeah, and it is Memorial Day. Thank you, and all the other veterans for the service to our country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This man spent 22 years in the Army.
21.
That's what I said. 21.
That's what I said.
Like Johnny Hayes.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
That's what I said. All right, guys. Today we are very pleased to have Eddie Gant on Trigger Points today. He's gonna go over all wealth of knowledge. But first thing first, I want to talk about our super investor meeting.
Man, it felt so good to be back.
Didn't it?
I was going. I guess our last meeting that we had live was February of 20, and so we finally had one live May of 2021. So I guess we missed 15 months, 14 months, I think it is.
Yeah.
It drove me crazy. I remember when we had to cancel March of 2020. I mean, we went right up to the deadline. I didn't want to cancel.
I was disappointed.
No,
you know how I thought. I thought it was all just a big hoax.
Well, yeah, if the venue would have allowed us to be there, we probably would have done it. The venue didn't allow us because the local jurisdiction, the county judge and such was disallowing it. So we didn't have a choice. When the venue couldn't hold us, then we didn't have a choice.
Yeah, but Stampede, I mean, that man.
I'm surprised by how many people never been and didn't know about this place. But number one, it is a very, very nice place.
Very nice. Very nice.
It just totally shocks you when you walk in that place of how nice it is.
Yeah, I would say personally, I think it's a lot better than the Republic Country Club as far as the venue itself. I mean, the Republic Country Club was good to us for all those years.
They were.
But this thing, I think that it's got more potential.
We had, I'm just going to say, and I don't know if the number is accurate or not. I was told that we had 440 people.
440, yeah, I believe that's what
440, which we were expecting a little more than that. But the one thing we've learned over the years, the one thing that hurts us more than anything, is rain.
Rain, yeah.
And it was just pouring down sheets, on Wednesday last week.
And it really hadn't stopped.
We had 440 people in a driving rain.
Yeah.
So
and
I guess you have to be happy about it. If it wouldn't have rained, I mean, we had 750 RSVPs. We would have had north of 600 people there had it not rained, I think, without question. But anyway, 404, here we are sitting there whining and complaining, crying over 440 people showing up for our first meeting in 14 months. I guess we ought to be thankful for that.
We ought to be a little thankful.
But I guess what got me on that point was we had 440 and it didn't look, it wasn't crowded.
It wasn't crowded. Yeah, it could handle.
We're going to handle the crowd of 1,000 when we get back to that point.
I think it will. Honestly, I think the weather was kind of because everybody was scared. Hey, we're going to have tornadoes and all this stuff, and it really never happened.
Yeah. And I know you had this, but I had so many people come up to me in person. I've had a bunch more on emails and texts, and man, just go like, man, yeah.
Glad it's back.
Glad it's back. Man, I miss it. I miss seeing y'all, and I miss all the camaraderie. I missed hearing the technical presentation. I missed all the vendors, and we've had, I think we had, 15, 16 vendors there the other night, and we've had 3 more sign up since the meeting. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Well,
We
no,
had three more.
So
at least three more.
So I did a commercial with Ted over at Tradition Plumbing.
Yeah.
We did that commercial on Wednesday, did a site walkthrough, and he was like, man, I didn't even know y'all went back live. I was like, he's like, I've been so busy. He's like, don't worry. And I told him, hey, get a hold of Stephanie that we want you there. And literally
they were a vendor for a long time at the RCC.
And literally, I think he signed up the very next day.
But I love the way the vendor arrangement ended up. We just lined them up against that back wall and through where the pool tables are, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And the traffic was pretty good back there.
Yeah.
For the vendors, because we need healthy vendors. I mean, they're not gonna stay with us if they don't get any business out of it.
Exactly.
So, but it was good.
Yeah, I'm excited for June 16th.
Yeah. At the RCC, one of the negatives was the vendors were outside. Now, eventually they had that area covered, but that cover only got put on there the last few months that we were there. So most of the time it was open air, and we were always
hot
or looking at the weather, And but this big enough. All the vendors are inside, and it's a big place. It's not. Oh, parking. One of our competitors recently had an event down in Houston. It's a friendly competitor, but we're friends with them. And another group had a meeting downtown area, southwest area, and all I heard from my friends that went was
parking.
I said I had to walk 3 blocks, had to walk 4 blocks. Parking was a joke. I don't know if I'm going to go back because of the parking. At the Stampede, they got over 2,000 parking spots.
I think we can handle that crowd though.
So we're going to be good, but you can just park on a new asphalt parking lot and walk to the front door. Never step in the mud.
Never.
You don't have to worry about being towed. It's free. So I think that's a big deal for us.
They don't have to walk from Walmart.
They don't have to walk.
We don't have to warn them. Don't park in the Waffle House. You'll get towed.
Yeah, that's right.
I will tell you guys, the parking is not a problem. So May 16th, mark it on your calendars. That's going to be our next live in-person super investor meeting. So Eddie, what's going on in the world of real estate in your world?
Well, it's pretty darn brisk, if I want to use that word, I guess. It's never slowed up, to be honest with you. I checked yesterday. There were 10,700 and something active houses on the market as of yesterday. COVID, and it's written on my wall calendar back there, COVID Monday, and I call COVID Monday March 9th. They shut down the Houston Rodeo on Tuesday, March the 10th. They shut down NCAA basketball tournament on Wednesday, March 11th. And NCAA baseball and NBA followed. So I call COVID Monday, March 9th of 2020. And I wrote it on my board. It's still there, 18,044. That's how many houses were on the market when COVID started in Houston, 18,044. We're 10,700. That calculates to about 5 to 6 weeks of inventory. You look at Austin numbers. I don't know exactly how many houses are on the market in Austin, but it calculates out to 2 weeks of inventory, less than a month of inventory. And it's not letting up. It's eventually going to turn. Nobody knows when. I have a guess or two for it, but it's owner occupants buying houses. It's landlords buying houses. It's hedge funds buying houses. It's what we call iBuyers. The Open Doors of the world and offer pads buying houses. I've never seen anything like it, and I've been doing this 22 years. I've never seen anything like it.
Would you say that, and this is what people have to understand, though, the Houston Association of Realtors, the MLS goes all the way from Huntsville down to Galveston. Some of the listings are in Beaumont, all the way over past Katy.
Out,
You got to understand how big that area, and to only have 10,700 active listings, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I've watched it since COVID, and it's just steadily just drop. Now it seems to be leveled off. It's been hovering between this 10,700 and 11,100 for about 3 weeks now.
Okay.
It seems to have leveled off, but that don't mean I'm not going to check it Monday, Tuesday, and it'd be down to 10,000 or less.
Yeah.
It's just, but it seems to somewhat, but that's such a small number. If you want to compare that number, and I don't have it written down here, but I'm pretty sure June 2010 is when we peaked in inventory or number of houses on the market. Remember that all the crap hit the fan in 08.
08
and 09, but it was still continuing into 10. And I think it was June of 2010, and the number was 59,000.
Whew.
And we're sitting here at 10,000 today, a little over 10,000.
So I have to ask this question. What do you think it's going to take to drive that inventory back up?
Well, it's a combination of things, but you got to pick one. It is interest rates.
Okay.
When interest rates go up, that's what's going to change today's market.
Okay.
Now, when's that going to happen? Nobody really knows for sure. I'll speculate a little bit later here if you want me to, of when I think it's going to happen, but what I think don't matter. I listen to a whole bunch of economists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody knows I follow
Mark
Dotzer out of College Station, and I haven't checked in with him in the last, little bit, but last time I had checked in with him, I don't mean personally checked into what he's saying. He saw, and most economists see, no change in what we're seeing now through this year, through the rest of the year, 2021. They won't go too far out on a limb about 2021, too far.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. They don't know. I don't think there's any question that we're seeing inflation. And inflation normally drives the long-term rates up. When you have inflation, long-term rates go up. Not short-term rates, but long-term rates. And that's not happening. We're having inflation, which if you listen to what most of the economists will tell you, say that the feds are artificially holding the rate down. And that can probably only go on for so long till it's it's going to bust. And I say bust, I don't mean bust in a bad way, that the rates go up. And let's just say it changes. That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's an adjustment period. Because let's just face the facts. What's going on today with a typical Texas or Houston area real estate investor? What's going on today? It is harder to find a bargain deal. There's no need to say that it's not more difficult. It is. Is it impossible? No. I bought one last week.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my friends, we had closed a bunch of jet loans this month.
No, yes, we have.
We closed it. So there's deals out there. They're not going to go jump in your lap.
No.
Okay. You got to go find them. And I'll get into that a little bit more here in a minute. But that's the downside. It's harder to find a lot of great deals. I didn't say impossible. It's harder. But the good news is, you sell you get the dadgum thing and you either clean it up or you overhaul it completely, don't matter, somewhere in between. Maybe you just paint and carpet and put in new stove and dishwasher. You don't do a full blown. You don't go replacing countertops and changing out all the tile in the bathroom and plumbing fixtures. You don't do all that. You do somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to sell the dadgum thing.
Especially in this market.
You're going to sell the dadgum thing, and you're going to sell it fast, which the quicker you sell a house that you own, that you intended to buy, fix, and flip. Buy and flip. That's your intent.
Mm-hmm.
The longer you hold it, the more interest you're paying your lender, whether it's jet lending or someone else, the more insurance you're paying, the more utilities you're paying, the more lawn maintenance you're paying, the more HOA you're paying. If you have a pool, the more pool service you're paying, meaning I call it carrying costs. The longer you hold it, man, this number's just growing on you monthly. And we know what can happen if that timeline gets out of hand on you and you budgeted to move it in 120 days and now you're at, 270 days is getting into your pocket. That don't happen today. You sell it. You put it on MLS or you put a sign in the yard and it sells. And it normally sells in a hurry. So that helps you out and offset some of that extra you had to pay for that house, maybe because you're not carrying it as nearly as long. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
No, it does. It does. You know, me and Ehab, we had our first podcast. We talked about this last week. People will call you all day long and not know how to find a deal. It's like, but you got to put in the work. You can't just sit behind a computer and expect it to come in over an email and, oh, that's a great deal.
That's right. You know, I learned a long time ago. A very smart man, probably the smartest man I ever met in this business, told me 21 years ago, said, no matter of the market condition, doesn't matter, bull market, bear market, up market, down market, whatever, 2 to 6% of your market is the distress market. Okay, 2 to 6%. I think that percent will vary and fluctuate over time. It's probably not the same today as it was 20 years ago, but somewhere in there, the distress market is always there. Okay, and the key to being a great real estate investor is finding those deals before somebody else finds them.
I've told a lot, and I take a lot of cues from you over the years. I've told a lot of brand new investors. I was like, the key to being successful in this is not getting the deal from the wholesalers, you being the wholesaler to yourself.
Yeah.
If you can get the first one to knock on that door and say, I want to buy your house, then you're winning. So that way you're not paying a markup fee. And there's nothing wrong with wholesalers. I mean, they're a very valuable asset to, the real estate community. But if you're going to flip a house and you want to make your maximum profit, I believe that you've got to be the first one to the front door.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I use a little bit different terminology. This is what I say. You see me do this too.
Yeah.
I look like I used to play ball.
The home run.
Out of the park. You got to get in the living room or in the kitchen.
And build that rapport.
With the person that's owned it for a while. Or inherited it.
You've got to sit down with them.
You got to get in the kitchen and living room. And if I go out on to buy a house, if it's going well, that's typically about an hour and 15-minute appointment. I'll spend 10 minutes max. And that's a long time for me, 10 minutes to walk the house and look at it. I'm making my note, paint, carpet, 18-foot of countertop, dishwasher, stove, roof, redo the tile in 2 bathrooms, redo the toilets, redo the vanities, X number of doors, X number of lights. It's 10 minutes for me to look at that house. And that other 50 minutes to an hour and 5 minutes, depending on if that appointment's an hour and 15, I'm sitting at the kitchen table most likely.
Running through the numbers?
Talking.
Just talking. Okay.
Talking.
So do y'all just have, tell us a little bit, do you have a conversation about getting to know them? Or is it just strictly about the house or how do you structure it?
Yes, and yes. It depends on your seller. Some of them are chatty and want to visit. And that's fine. Some of them want to get down to business in a hurry. And that's fine.
And you got to be able to read that.
You just got to figure out where you're at. But you want to ask a lot of questions and then let your ears do more work than your lips. Okay. And that's hard for a lot of people. You know me pretty well. That's hard for me sometimes. You know? But I want my ears to do a lot more work than my lips. And, almost every time you end up in the house, you've had a phone conversation with them prior to being there. And they'll tell you certain things over the phone. But what I have found in my 22 years of buying houses, when you sit down at that kitchen table, and sometimes it's in the living room on the couch or whatever, you're sitting there talking, you either get a whole bunch more of the story of why they called Eddie Gant with Home Investors and did not call Remax, did not call Keller Williams. They didn't call, Gary Green Realtors. Didn't call them people. They called Home Investors. There's a reason. And a lot of times they won't tell you that over the phone. They'll tell you something, but they won't. But you sit down at that kitchen table and start talking, just boom. It comes out of what's really going on.
Yeah.
And I'll say that. I say, all right. And I say it just like this. I said, listen, you called an investor. We don't pay top of the market. I'm assuming you know that. We don't pay top of the market. We buy at a discount. We buy as is. You didn't call Remax. You didn't call EXP.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't call, all the Keller Williams. Why?
Find out the why.
Mm-hmm. Why? Yeah. And that's a valuable piece of information. You want to know why they called the investor and didn't go the other route. I'll also say, I know the money's the most important thing here. Money is most important. But I want you to tell me, in a perfect world, if we come to an agreement on the money, when is the perfect day for you to close? And you have to explain what close means. A lot of them don't know what close mean. What's the perfect day for us to close this transaction? You get your money and I own it, and you to move to your next location. What's perfect? And that answer going to tell you a lot.
If it's quick,
they'll say yesterday, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. That answer's telling you a lot. Okay.
That means they need the money quick.
That's right. Let's say it's February and they tell you the end of May, 1st of June. What does that mean?
It means they're not in a huge hurry.
It means they probably got kids in school and it's important to them to get this deal done, but they don't want to move till school's over.
Yeah.
You'll get the same kind of thing around October, but right after Christmas. They don't want to be jacking around with this deal during Christmas. So I'll ask them then. I say, all right, I can do that. Or I tell you, that's not a problem here. We'll accommodate you. What else is important to you? What else, other than the money, what else is most important? And you get a variety of things, but you got to look past what they say. What does it mean? They'll say, I don't want anybody else in this house.
Yeah.
Meaning they don't want that realtor route with people parading through. And that's usually just due to their private people, or they're worried about security. Older people are worried about, theft or home invasions and things of that nature. They're telling you a story with their answers. And that's the reason I say you let your ears do a lot more work than your lips. You let them talk, and they'll tell you. And the first thing you walked into a house that you thought was one scenario, but it's a totally different one.
Yeah.
And you find out what those needs are, because I had bought over 1,700 houses, and only about 20 of them did I make my first offer, and they go, take it. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't like, you're going to think I'm lying to you, but I do not like that answer. When I say, I'll pay you, $104,760. Let's do it. Dude, there's something my stomach goes up in my chest. I immediately think,
okay, what's going on?
What did I miss?
Yeah.
What's going on? Too much.
Something's fishy about
I have paid too much today. I missed something. I'm going to tell you, people will think I'm lying with that. I do not like that answer.
Yeah, it's kind of that gut instinct, like, okay, hold on, what I missed? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this house?
Yeah. I want to hear if I offer an example, $104,760, and that's a key number there, by the way. I didn't just totally make that number up. I want to hear I need 120. I'm not selling for less than 115. Because now, I know I'm in the game and I'm playing it. I'm setting my hook,
Yeah.
and I can overcome that gap. I can overcome that every dadgum time. What I can't overcome, I ain't taking less than 200.
Yeah.
I got a lot of work to do
gap.
to get this deal. I don't have $86,000 extra I can pay here, but if I get it, I got to have 115. I got to have 120.
That's an easy.
I'm walking out. I'm walking out with that deal that day. I guarantee you every time, or almost every time. But so you just you got to go sit down and talk, and that's where you
hit them home runs out of the park.
Out of the park.
Yep. Out of the park.
Yep.
Well, let's talk a little bit about jet lending. In preparation for this podcast, I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous because me and you've never really sat down. I mean, we've talked about real estate a lot, but we've never really sat down and had this long of a conversation. Usually,
we've never done a podcast.
We've never done a podcast, yes, but we've talked about a lot of real estate, over the years. We've had 3 really good years here in 2019, 20, and now we're 21.
Yeah. I don't know which way you want me to take that, but conversation, I guess you'll let me know here, but this wasn't pre-planned. It's just boom, we're spontaneous here. I think everybody in Southeast Texas for sure that's in the real estate investing. I meet mainstream realtors every day that have no idea who jet lending is. It's pretty hard to find an investor that doesn't know who we are. And I think one of the things I'm probably most proud of is we don't have to defend our name.
Yeah. That's true.
You can look long and hard before you find anything in bad press on us. It's almost non-existent. We ain't perfect. I've had a few people put a 1-sentence, 2-sentence deal out on Facebook or something that maybe we made mad one day, and but it's almost non-existent. You just don't see it.
And we always have a lot of people come to our defense.
That's right, and that makes us feel good about that. And every time someone puts something out there, and again, it ain't often. Maybe I think twice last year, I called people up. And I didn't call them up and say, "You so and so, what the hell are you saying that for?" I started every conversation off like that, and they all go the same way. I said, "Hey, it's Eddie Gant, owner of Jet." I said, "I saw your Facebook post. Why did you say that? You've never called me, you've never emailed me, you've never told me anything. The only way I knew there was a problem, I saw your post. Why did you do that?"
Yeah.
What happened?
And just try to get to the bottom of it.
Almost every time I've ended up with a friend out of the deal.
Yeah.
And almost every time they admit, well, I probably shouldn't have done it. I'd had a few beers. I'll take it down. Here's what happened. And we talk it through. And I walk out of the deal having a friend.
Yeah.
Out of the deal. And that's not BS. They've almost all gone that way.
I mean, 90% of the time, if something goes wrong here, it's minor, and people take it the wrong way. I mean, but money's emotional, and you can get emotional over it. But I think what I was relaying to the 2019-20, and now we're on record.
Yeah.
What do you think has changed over the last 3 years? And I know my opinion. Yeah. What do you think has changed the jet lending over the last 3 years that has built to that success?
We built the company on being really good at helping our investors evaluate properties. Because I bought a ton of them. I pretty much know when I look at a deal, and I'm not perfect and I don't know everything, but I'm going to say 98% of the deals that flow through here, whether we do the deal or not, I'll look at and I can tell you with pretty good accuracy, that's a good deal or it's not a good deal. And I think we've always told our customers the truth that, man, you got a great deal. You're close to a good deal. maybe you're paying a little too much, or dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, you need to walk away.
You need to get away from this deal. And we've had a lot of those deals and they get away from it. And at first they get mad, but almost every time, somewhere along the way, it may be a day later, it may be a year later, that client comes back around and said,
hey,
y'all
thanks.
were right.
Thanks.
That kept me, because I said that what the deals you don't do not put you out of business. The deal you do, the wrong deal you do, may put you out of this business. You may be one and done.
And that's the last thing we want.
So I'm going to say that probably more than anything. Most of our competitions never flipped a house.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. I'm not saying they're not knowledgeable. I'm just saying most of them have never done it. I got 1,700 of them under my belt.
That's a lot.
That's a bunch.
That's quite a few.
And I don't know everything. But I have probably experienced just about everything that our clients run into. I've already been there, and I got the battle scars for what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to go through that same deal. And I'll tell you this: we've never been accused of stealing somebody's deal. So everybody knows I'm in the business. I have walked away from deals because I'm working on the deal, and the same lead comes through you, one of your clients. I'll back away because we can't afford to have Jet Lending be accused of stealing somebody's deal. I just get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't compete with my own Jet
Lending
Lending clients.
I've been working here 5 years, and I think one time a client accused us of taking it down.
Yeah.
One time in 5 years, and I said, well, go check it and see who bought it, and then call me back. He's like, okay. He called me back. He's like, man, I'm sorry. I didn't.
It's never high. I had one guy, and he's actually a friend of mine now. I call him by his first name. If he sees this, he'll know. First name's Larry. That's his real first name. I won't say last name. He kind of said something to me about what he probably said. I heard that an investor say, Jet stole their deal. I said, didn't happen. Get me the address, because you can't get me the address because it's never happened. It's never happened. And I'll just get away from them. Mm-hmm. It don't happen too often. Three times a year, I'm on a deal personally to buy it, and the deal, I don't have it under contract yet, and it flows through here, and I just get away from it. I just, I let it go. You have to. I don't want somebody to think that. But we're awful good at helping our clients coach it, if you want to call it that, about the deal. Our second probably attribute is we're fast, and we're dependable. I think we probably close 2 deals a week that the deal was with a private lender, and our client was ready to close
or
with the private money.
Or a different lender.
Yeah, but it's big on private. And the private lender either doesn't have the funds to close or gets scared of the deal. Mm-hmm. We see it every week.
Yep.
So the attribute we have is, dependability. Once we tell you we're going to do the deal, we do the deal. Mm-hmm. We don't have the investors not having to run around, chase other monies, and be tossing and turning and not be able to sleep at night wondering if we're going to be there for them on closing day. Don't have to worry about it here. Once we give you a commitment to do the deal, we do the deal.
Almost 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
I mean,
something else changes if we don't do it. Something else changes,
I mean, I've been a loan officer here for 5 years. I don't think we have walked away from the closing table ever.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. On the typical property, we need our appraisal. Get over here with cameras. We need our appraisal, and we need our title, a clear title commitment. Emphasis on clear. We can get a title commitment, but Schedule C is all jacked up with 14 liens. We can't close quick. We got a cleared Schedule C on the title commitment. You get us those 2 documents, then we need 3 days to order our docs, and we can do it quicker than that, but when you rush at the very end, that's when mistakes happen. So appraisal and title commitment in 3 days, and we're closing. Now we're normally waiting on title commitment when the truth be known. That's normally the critical path is not jet lending making decisions, not the appraiser getting out there and getting us a report. It's title commitment.
Yep. Clear title commitment. It slows 95% of our deals.
That's right. That's right.
5%.
So
maybe the appraisal's taking just a little bit longer, but that's literally hardly ever.
Yeah. So I think that's probably, but some of the things, if you're asking what's been the key to our operation, over the years, in the last 3 years, well, I guess you got last 2 years or whatever with all the stuff. There's no need to say it hadn't been different, because that'd be a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been almost the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about every day. We're either doing financing and looking at flips or rentals, single family or small commercial. I mean, it's almost business as usual during the last, if you want to call it, 15 months. We have to wear a mask every now and then. You can't go in all the places you do. You don't see all your friends quite as often, but it's been almost business as usual.
I was scared, and I'll be honest with you. I was a little scared inside. I was like, how's this going to affect our business? Are people going to? But literally, I mean, our business went up during COVID.
It did. And I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm sitting over here talking about these 1,700 houses in 22 years like I'm a smart guy. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to go the other direction.
I did too. And it wasn't based off any conversation. I'm just like, you go home at night, you got COVID hitting. It's starting to progress more and more every day. But people, and Jason's Bible has said this. He said, COVID's going to weed out the non-doers, or the guys that are just tire kickers. And I believe it did to a certain extent.
2008 did. I guarantee you, man, because at that time in 2008, the number one attended meeting was the Rich Club. They used to do them on the, I think it was the first Saturday of the month, and they did it at the University of Houston at the Hilton. And that meeting got up to 500-600 people, and you had 40 vendors, and that was in early 08. And the 08 collapse was the end of 08. Third, fourth quarters was when it hit. And buddy, by first quarter of 2009, there was almost no vendors, and your crowd was down to 150 probably. And it's because everybody was getting slaughtered, and they were getting slaughtered because they couldn't move their inventory. They got an investment home and they couldn't move it, and they'd run out of money holding it. And it's the only time in the history of jet lending that we've had a substantial number of foreclosures.
Yeah,
08, 09, end of 08, 9, and 10. Other than that, we've never had many foreclosures. We have some, but it's not many. You know how many we got year to date?
Zero year to date. We just talked about that.
Yeah, had 5 last year.
Yeah,
5 for the whole year. So, but anyway, but unfortunately, 08, 9, and 10, and investors were going belly up. I mean, it was. Go ahead.
So, got to ask a couple questions here. Selling rentals right now, is that a smart or dumb idea, in your opinion?
Depends on your motivation. It's a good idea because we're top of the market, and you can get a lot more for them. Okay, that's one way to look at it. You might say it's not very smart because we had double-digit appreciation in the Houston area in 2019. I believe the Houston Association of Realtors number, and there's different articles, so the number will vary, but I believe you'll find most of the articles will center around 16% appreciation for 2020. So you had, call it 10 plus, and you had 16, in a 24-month period and back-to-back year, why in the world would you want to sell the damn thing? Okay.
It makes no
I'm
sense.
a walking, talking billboard for appreciation. I got a whole slew of them that used to not be worth much. They're worth a lot of money now. I'm a walking, talking billboard for appreciation, which in my opinion is the main reason. And sometimes I'll even say, and it pisses people off. I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk like that. It makes people mad sometimes. I made some people mad at Think Realty. I sat up there and I said, the only reason you own rental property is appreciation. And I'll tell you what, most days I feel that way.
Yeah.
I made some people mad in the audience. Mine cash flow fine. I manage properties and they cash flow fine. I said, all right, whatever. Own 150 of them and hold them for a few years and tell me that story. They're talking. They don't know what they're talking about most of the time. I'm sorry, but anyway, walking, talking billboard for appreciation. So your question was, should you buy or sell your rentals?
And this
it just depends on your motivation. If you got a rent house that you can sell today and net out $100,000 pure cash, and you have a need, whether it be investment purpose or just want to go spend it, or you want to buy something else, there's absolutely nothing wrong with selling that property, in my opinion. Sell it, cash out, get your $100,000 and go buy another piece of property or invest it in some dirt or put it in the bank. I call it pulling some chips off the table, pull a few chips off the table. But you may be in a situation when 8 years from now, you're going like, crap, I should have held on to that house. What would it be worth now? And I'm a walking, talking billboard for that statement. I don't even want to tell you how many houses I sold in the first ward. You don't call it first ward anymore, but the seasoned investors know where I'm talking. You know what we call the first ward 10 years ago? Washington Street.
Oh, okay.
I don't even want to tell you how many old houses I sold in there.
Yeah. How many?
I wish I had every one of them, cousin.
And they're worth a ton now.
Well, the dirt is, most of the houses not there.
Oh, okay.
The dirt is.
Let me ask you this question.
Grant, did I answer your question?
You did.
Okay.
Grant Cardone, you watch him ever?
I know who he is. I've seen a little bit of his stuff, but I don't follow him.
He says,
I let you boys follow all them national gurus.
Look, he's the only one that I really follow.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this. He says, if you've got a bunch of pile of cash in your bank account, he says, get rid of it. He said, get rid of it and put an asset that's going to make you babies. You understand the concept behind that? Sure, he says every time he's got 50 million, he's going to put it into a property that's going to make him more than that 50 million.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think if you make your investments wisely, you'll be in real property. And not, just define real, what the definition of real property is? The dirt. The dirt is real property. The bricks and the sticks and the carpet and the plumbing and the electrical that's sitting up on top of the dirt is called improvements. If you're investing in real property soundly, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably a good move. I don't have a whole lot of really core strategies for buying rental property. I like good high schools. One. You'll normally find if you buy a house in an area that's got a top-rated high school, it's not that the elementary and the middle schools and stuff is not important, but the high schools is the key. You buy houses that have highly rated high schools, that house will normally stay rented. And when you do have turnover, it will re-rent again quickly, and yet the house will normally appreciate.
Yeah.
So appreciation. So that's one way. The other, I'll be honest with you, one of the strategies I've always liked is I like buying an inner city brick with 4 bedrooms. Inner city means there's no mud tax. So that helps you on your cash flow. And that sucker will stay rented on Section 8 and it will not come vacant. And it will rent for a premium. So I like that profile. until 2 years ago, that house didn't appreciate much. Last 2 years it has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the inner city, rougher areas, appreciation just crazy. It's just crazy. I've never seen anything like it. So back to your point, is it, if it's sound, low risk, and it's backed up by real property, it's kind of hard to mess those up, I think.
Yeah. He says the reason why he dumps his cash into real estate and doesn't keep it in his account because it motivates him to go make more.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
He said when he looks at his bank accounts and it shows there's a depletion, it gives him the more motivation to get out there.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't have a mathematical model from what I'm about to say. What's worked well for me is hold houses for 8 to 12 years and liquidate them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't take the money and go blow it in Vegas or anything. I normally buy other property or I put it into a restaurant.
You put it into land, though.
Land. I own a lot of land, raw land, and I own some restaurants, you know, chicken restaurants, as you well know.
Oh, yeah.
And I put the money in that. That's where I got a lot of the money that I put in the chicken restaurants was.
You've said that you wish you would have gotten into that a little bit earlier.
You ain't lying.
Tell me why. Or tell everybody why.
Well, they're profitable.
Yeah.
And that's
everybody loves it.
Yeah, profitable. My brother runs them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to, you know, run them. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. he sees this video, he can be want to raise. But it's just, you know, it's, you know, you hear the word passive income, and to me, it's passive income.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother is not as passive because he puts a lot of time in it. He runs them, but he loves doing it. So it's passive to me, you know. So, but I hold a lot of land. I have a lot of pride in it, you know. I'm not going to say holding raw land is put a lot of money in my pocket. It will one day, or it will Haley's.
Yeah,
you know. It's a kind of a pride factor with me. You know, I'm up to about, I don't know, I'm over 2,000 acres.
Yeah,
you know, probably closer.
Beautiful land, beautiful
land.
I
hold it and I go out there and drink my beer on it and ride my, you know,
4-wheelers,
you know, and I, you know, so do various things. And we're getting ready to cut a bunch of timber, which is monetarily one of the things that I do. It's
high
an
motivation right there.
Yeah, we're getting ready to cut timber. You know, the unfortunate thing about timber, we call it on the stump. The stump price hadn't the price at Home Depot is real high. Mm-hmm. On a 2x4 on sheet of plywood. It hadn't translated back to the stump like it needs to. So on the stump's cheap, on the rack at Home Depot is very high. So we need the stump price to come up. And I've kind of held off for quite a while selling, but some of it needs to be cut. You know, it's mature.
Okay, I got to
what else?
All right, we got a few more minutes left till we hit this hour note, and I'm going to ask 2 personal questions. One, when do you think? And I mean, you're about to hit 60 this year, right?
Don't freaking say that. I look good for 60 though, don't I?
I would never know that. I would never know that.
I'm in my 50s for a little while longer. But damn.
How much longer? And you can answer this or not.
Yeah.
How much longer do you see yourself actively going?
My granddaddy was 91 when he was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And most everybody thought he was in his 70s. And he was working that day when he was murdered. Bear Bryant retired from coaching football and died 2 or 3 months later. I don't think I'll ever quit.
Great answer.
That's the truth.
Great answer.
I don't think I'll ever quit.
You know me and my dad. My dad were really close together.
Yeah, I knew your dad.
He told me this years before he passed away. He said, "Son, I want you to make me a promise. To the day that you just physically can't do it no more, you stay in the game." He said, because I stopped a little too early. He said, and I wish I wouldn't have. And I said, well, I can make you that promise.
Well, I honestly, and this is no BS, I honestly wake up every morning, unless I've had too many beers the night before, which is not too often anymore. I wake up every morning ready to go.
Yep.
And that's true.
Yep.
I look forward to it. And I look forward to it. I'm thinking about, and you've heard me say this, I don't have a whole lot of life professional strategies and psychological things I go through, but here's one that I do. And I'm going to say it first. I'm then going to tell you who I heard it from. And I live my life this way. There is no staying the same. You either get better or you get worse.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard me say that right here.
Yeah.
There is no staying the same. You either get better or you get worse. Do you know who I got that from?
I have no clue.
Jimmy Johnson coaching the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You also say another thing that I've taken personally as well. The little thing. What is it about the little things?
Small adjustments pay big.
The small adjustments pay big.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, if you make a little small adjustments to your life or what you're doing.
Yep. Small adjustments pay big. And I have a whole golfing analogy that goes along with that. We may not have time. But I'll go to trade shows and I'll be around my friends and they'll bitch and whine about they're not getting anything out of it. And I say, man, you got a whole wrong perspective here. You don't go to these things and expect to find 26 high impact items that you take back that makes you an extra $1 million tomorrow. You look for small things to take back to your shop to make adjustments. Mm-hmm. And small adjustments will pay big in the long haul.
They will.
Mm-hmm. I've said that forever.
And one last question, and then I will let you go because I know you are a very busy man. I have to know this because I don't think I think I know the answer, but I want to get a little bit deeper. This job can be very stressful. Real estate can be very stressful. Mm-hmm. What do you do when you know that you're at your max stress? What do you do to relax?
Well, I do two things. One, I haven't been able to do lately because I had rotator cuff surgery. Mm-hmm. I like to go lift weights.
Okay.
I don't look like I lift weights. Imagine how bad I would look if I didn't. But I ain't been able to lift weights lately.
Okay.
But I like to go. I will soon be back in it. Today is 10 weeks since my surgery, I think, 10 or 11.
Range of motion getting back?
Yeah, I'm still sore. It still hurts. I can't lift. So lift weights is one. The other thing I do is I will normally work 20 to 30 days in a row, and then I take 4 days off. It's usually 4 days. Could be 3. And I go to the woods.
And unwind. Mm-hmm. Now, I agree with you on the lifting weights, and I agree with you on the woods. Mm-hmm. There's another thing that I do.
What do you do?
I listen to music.
Yeah.
I get by myself.
Yeah.
And I put the windows down and go listen to some country music.
Yeah. Who's your favorite?
Right now, I'm favorite, Cody Johnson.
I'm a Kenny Chesney fan. There's 3 or 4 of them country artists that's in my top 3 or 4, but I'm a big Kenny Chesney fan. That's one thing that's COVID, and I want to go. I want to go see some live music.
And we did. We did.
We saw
Aaron Watson.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
We saw Aaron Watson.
Yeah, Aaron Watson.
That's who we saw a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, over at the Stampede.
So that's good stuff, but I like that's what I do. And I can't wait for my shoulder to be well so I can go back to the gym and lift weights.
My wife will always tell me, you're stressed out, get out, go do what you got to do. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you another thing that I have not done in a while, and that's because life and baby, there's one more thing that I love doing, and you probably know what it is. I love to get in the mud.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. I was getting ready to say, when I'm home with my brothers, we ride. We call it make a loop.
Yep.
We make a loop through the back roads. There's a country song. I think it's I can't think of his name right now. It's not. It's get some gravel in my travel is one of the lines, and we like to go get some gravel in our travel and ride the back roads. And you can't do it in Houston, Texas, too much.
You can't.
But in Mississippi you can.
Well, I I spent a large amount of my time in the military in Texas, and I've got some really good friends up in Northeast Texas. And I tell you, ever since having a baby, your priorities change and stuff. But I've told my wife, and I've told her several times, like, look, I've got to get back in the woods. I was like, that's the place. Yeah. She's like, well, let's just make a plan to do it. So,
well, I love it. I love, I like to hunt.
I do as well.
But I hunt a lot of days in the winter. It ain't about killing; it's about going. No, I would kill a deer or two. I don't kill many. I won the big buck contest at the camp this year, by the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, if anybody's listening, so I got one pretty good one. But I love that kind of stuff. I like getting away.
And I go over there once or twice a year as well. Enjoy going over there, spending time with your brothers, and it's always a lot of fun. Didn't kill anything this past year, but the fact that we got to go and just hang out and not worry about money or lending.
Well, I say this when we went to camp, a lot of things might happen to us. Starving to death ain't one of them. There's so much food.
Oh, yeah.
Beer and that stuff.
Well,
and BS flowing.
Eddie, I appreciate you coming on.
Man, it went quick. We an hour already?
We're almost to an hour already, but, I know we're both trying to finish out the month, and I appreciate the fact that you came on the show today. Next week, we got Jason Bible coming. So
I might come in here and heckle him.
Have some heckling.
What is this? Oh, that's a Westheimer post oak.
Yeah, we're over in Westheimer right now. If y'all didn't know, we're sitting on
nighttime.
But I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Next week we'll have Jason Bible coming on the show. We're gonna pick up some stuff that he's done this week and talk about some really hard stuff about real estate. Hope to see y'all next week. Again, thank you, Eddie. Next week, same time, 10 to 11 podcast, Trigger Points podcast. We will see you then. We're out here.